Hey, what's up, everyone? I'm Benny Resendez, co-producer here at the Republican Party of Bexar County, and today we are interviewing Sandra Whitten, who is running for U.S. House Congressional District 28. Sandra, thank you for being here.
It's my pleasure. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Well, thank you here for taking a little time out of your busy schedule to come and answer the people's questions.
Of course.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are running for this position.
So I'm 36 years old. I've been a resident of South Texas for a little over 11 years now. I'm a mom of 4. I've got 3 boys and a little girl. Finally got my daughter. And, after I had my daughter, I was watching what was going on in the country. And she was actually born the day after Election Day for 2018. And so she was kind of my drive. Like everyone said, when you have a daughter, it's going to change things. And I didn't realize how true that was. And I realized that if I'm not showing her what an example of patriotism and Christianity and, what a woman is supposed to look like, then who is? Because Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez certainly is not. And yet that's who the media and that's who the extreme left and Hollywood wants to exemplify as what a woman's supposed to look like. And I thought, my daughter doesn't have a public role model who's willing to fight for her freedoms, and what other daughter does not. What other young girl doesn't. So, part of it was to really push for young women, but really fix our country, because the men, no offense, have really just kind of been messing it up.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you for that, Sandra. Men, we gotta fix it, okay, guys?
You do. I mean, y'all have been running our country for over 240 years, and look at where we're at. Y'all got, not all the men.
Mm-hmm.
Not all the
Thank
men.
you.
Not all the men, but you know which ones you are, quite honestly.
Yeah. So, going on to that, obviously, people in power have been hurting many citizens in Bexar County by their policies. So what qualifies you for this position?
I think it's kind of the same thing that qualified President Trump. He was a real person. He wasn't some distinguished long-term politician who was out for his own personal gain. He really cared about the American people, and he wanted to make a difference, and he knew that he could be willing to make the tough decisions, because it wasn't bought and paid for by everybody like so many of our politicians are now, especially our career ones. And so when I started looking at everything, I said, you know what? I'm able to help people understand what is going on in our country and what's going on with our policies and this, that, and the third. And I really think that these are some easy changes that we can make. We just have to have people willing to stand up and make them. And so I said, I may not be a career politician, but neither is President Trump, and yet here we are. And we're in our best, aside from the COVID-19 stuff,
yeah.
We're in our best time of economics and everything else, growth, and that we've seen in generations. Mm-hmm. So I would look forward to being able to bring fresh ideas just like President Trump did, and look at new ways that we can fix things and get our country back on track.
So, Sandra, let's say you win the election. What are 3 very important issues to you that you, once you get to Washington, are going to fight for?
Only 3. Okay. Unfortunately, the way that climate keeps changing, if you will, in terms of what's going on politically, it kind of varies. But that's the joy of politics. You have to be able to stay relevant and keep current. Border security is something that is fundamentally important to me. I actually live on the border, so I understand what is happening on the border in a way that most people don't. So border security is definitely a top priority for me. We're looking and taking more of a proactive healthcare stance. It's not the care that's the problem, it's the ability to pay for it. The other thing that we really have to do is we have to support our law enforcement and our military. And right now we're watching exactly why that is so important. And so we have to take care of that on a federal level to be able to kind of protect them, because look at what's happening in Minneapolis, of course in Washington and things like that, Washington State. Our law enforcement is just being treated terribly, and our elected officials are not doing their job to stand up and do what's right by them, and they put their lives every day on the line for us, and we're doing nothing for them.
Yeah, you make very valid points there, Sandra. So for our last question, for conservatives, you have no one facing off against you, so now you're just focused for the final election in November. Where are some examples where you stood up for conservative values in your life?
Oh gosh, in my life, pretty much all along. I mean, I've always been a strong Christian, and teaching the word, and history is important to me, and education teaching people about, hey, we've got, this is why it's done this way. And unfortunately, the left doesn't do that. They just want to run on feelings and this, that, and the third instead of on facts. And this is a quick story that I'll tell during the 2016 elections, my son was 9. And he stood up to his teacher when she said she was voting for Clinton. And he said, why would you vote for somebody who's going to defend the military when your son's in the military? And then he laid out all the facts. And, showing that we can instill these values in our children at so young that at 9 years old, my son was able to stand up to his teacher. That shows what kind of values that we're talking about and how strong conservatism is and why it's important. Because he was able to literally debate a teacher at 9.
I wish I could do that when I was 9.
That makes two of us.
Great.
So, it's those kinds of things. So I feel like I've always been a voice. I just didn't realize the power that we had in it.
Yes, well, thank you so much, Sandra, for taking the time to come here and have this interview. We're going to link Sandra's info here in the description below. Remember to like this video. And Sandra, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. See you guys.